not entering in what's called a magistrate's order for emergency protection, magistrate order for emergency protection that identifies Brianna Ford as a protected individual. You cannot commit family violence. Yasmin Davila?
Yes.
Davila, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, man.
Yes,
Okay.
On October 17, 2024, the officer was dispatched to a one motor vehicle accident at 2000 block of Forest Oaks Road in Harris County, Texas. Upon arrival, the officer observed the defendant standing near the driver's side door of his vehicle, and the officer observed the vehicle to be completely disabled since it had crashed against a large tree. The defendant admitted to being the sole occupant and driver of the vehicle, and the officer observed the defendant to have slurred speech, a moderate odor of an alcoholic beverage, and red glossy eyes. The defendant admitted to drinking, and standard field sobriety tests were conducted. HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 6 out of 8, and the one leg stand was 3 out of 4. The DIC was read, but the defendant refused, and a blood warrant was obtained and executed.
Okay, Ms. Davila, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Do you have a Texas driver license, ma'am? Do you have valid liability insurance in your name?
No.
Then you're not allowed to drive. If you don't have car insurance, you may not drive, and I'm making that a condition of your bond. I'm also ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any kind of dope, I will put you in jail. Alex, she has a prior obstruction of a highway. Those are usually DWIs that are reduced to either like a reckless or a obstruction. Is this a prior DWI that was reduced? And if you can run her to see if she has any DWIs from elsewhere, please.
Yes, Your Honor, and the obstruction does not appear to be a prior DWI that was
Is it
reduced.
true obstruction?
Yes, Your Honor, and I'll run her NCIC and double check for you.
Please.
Your Honor, she has no other prior DWIs or open
Okay.
cases.
The reason I'm asking that, ma'am, is that if I see that you had any prior contacts, I would put an interlock on your car. I'm not going to at this point, but I am ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. If I find that you're consuming anything, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand?
I do.
What do you do for a living, man? How old are you?
I'm 20. I'm a bartender.
You're 20?
8.
You're 28. Where do you bartend at? At a local bar?
Heights. No, I live 30 minutes away from it.
Be careful. Temptation is high when you work in a bar. Understand, I'm not going to accept this. Oh, a beer fell into my mouth, or I slipped and fell and alcohol came. Doesn't matter. Don't consume alcohol. You understand? How much money do you make a month, man?
Say 2,000.
You married?
I'm not.
Children? Can you afford a lawyer?
Can't. No.
Let's do this. I'll have you fill out an application. I need to know everything about you. I need to know how much money you have in the bank, your expenses, all income that you have coming in from any other places, whether it be this or that. I need to know everything about you, and I'll see whether you qualify for an appointed lawyer. We'll have you fill that out. I'm now going to also have you sign an affidavit that you're not allowed to drive until you have car insurance. And then I'm going to have you sign a receipt with Victoria. You'll eventually get with pre-job your bond conditions. Then we'll have you take your seat in the jury box. Okay? Please. Are you Miss Nubin?
Yes, sir.
Miss Nubin, you're charged with failure to stop and give information, which is leaving the scene of an accident without exchanging information. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you.
Yes. On October 16, 2024, the officers were dispatched to a citizen following a failure to stop and give information suspect in Harris County, Texas. The officer made contact with the complainant, whose vehicle had a large-sized dent in the rear quarter panel with damages that appeared to be new. The defendant's vehicle had minor dents and scratches on the left panel of the motor vehicle. The complainant stated he was driving when the defendant tried to change lanes into the lane the complainant was in, but the defendant ended up hitting the complainant instead. The complainant stated the defendant quickly drove southbound, stopped one time, and stated she would not provide information regarding an accident that had only caused some scratches and bumps. The complainant stated the defendant then drove away, and the complainant followed her to an apartment complex, with the gate closing before the complainant could follow her inside. The defendant stated she was driving. She attempted to get over to the far left lane. The complainant was on the phone and not paying attention, and she hit the complainant, causing minor scratches and dents. The defendant stated the complainant looked crazy, so she did not stop and kept driving into other parking lots to avoid the complainant. The defendant stated there were only minor damages, so she should not have to provide information. The damage was approximately $200.
Okay. Ms. Newman, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Do you have a valid Texas driver license? You are not allowed to drive. I am making that a condition of your bond. You will be signing an affidavit with me today promising you're not going to drive. If I find that you drive, I will have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. Do you understand? If you want to drive, all I'm asking you to do is follow the law, get a license, get liability insurance, and then I'll let you drive. But if I find that you drive in violation of this, there's going to be a heavy, heavy toll. Do you understand? What do you do for a living, man?
Hairstylist,
How much money do you make a month?
around 2,500.
Do you have any children?
Yes,
How many children do you have? Do you get support for the kids? You want to apply for an appointed lawyer? Okay, I'm gonna have you come up here, swear to us that you're not gonna drive. She's gonna give you an application for a court appointed lawyer. I need you to fill out everything for me and be honest, and I'll see whether you qualify. After that, I'll have you take a seat. I'll have you sign a receipt with Victoria, and then we'll have you take a seat in the jury box, right? Okay? Please. Your timing is impeccable. You ready? Let's go. Do you want a second to talk to him first?
Just do it, Raymond, right?
No, I haven't done it yet.
Okay, let's just do it.
Do you want to, you want to wait?
We're good. We're
You're
good.
good?
I've already
Okay.
spoken.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Cruz Mendoza. Sir, you were charged with driving while intoxicated. You are facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
On October 16th, 2024, the officer conducted a traffic stop for the defendant impeding traffic and for an improper turn. The defendant was the sole occupant and operator of the motor vehicle. Upon contact, the officer observed the defendant with red, watery, bloodshot eyes, an odor of an alcoholic beverage, slurred speech, and poor balance. The defendant appeared confused and was unable to tell the officer where she was coming from. The defendant advised he consumed 4 12-ounce Corona beers and 1 40-ounce Corona beer prior to operating the vehicle. 9 open containers of 12-ounce Corona beers were located inside the motor vehicle, all cold to the touch.
Drinking while he's driving? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Your Honor. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted. HGN was 6 out of 6. Walk and turn 8 out of 8. One leg stand 0 out of 4. The DIC was read and the defendant consented to grab. The results were 0.138 and 0.14.
Mr. Cruz Mendoza, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I would hope that you recognize it's elementary that you're not supposed to have alcohol in the car while you are driving. And I'm going to tell you now that in and of itself is a minimum of 5 days in jail to any sentence that you get. What is your immigration status in this country? Are you here with or without permission?
Without permission.
What happens if you go to jail?
Va a la cárcel. I
Think.
don't know, piense.
Don't tell him, Enrique. I
No le
want him
diga
to
a
think.
Enrique. Quiero que lo piense.
Are you in this country with or without permission?
Sin permiso.
Simple.
Without permission.
What happens if you go to jail?
Si acaso usted va a la cárcel. Deportation.
Right. Exactly right.
Cierto.
You will get an immigration detainer. You will be stuck like Chuck in jail until this case is over with, and then you will be shipped off to immigration, where you will sit for another 6 to 9 months waiting for immigration to do whatever they're going to do. And I'm going to tell you now, if you do anything close to anything more than 4 hours in custody, they will put a detainer on you. Do you understand?
¿Entiende? Yes.
I'm putting conditions on your bond now. And if I find that you violate it in any way, I will put you in jail and you will not get any more PR bonds. If you do not have a Texas driver license and liability insurance, you are not to drive. I am now making that a condition of your bond. Do not drive. Do you understand?
¿Entiende? Yes.
I'm also ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I will randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol and kind of drugs, likewise, you will go to jail. No more PR bonds.
Voy a encarcelar y no voy a... Perdón.
I didn't have any pride either, guys, Alex.
Señor
No, Your Honor.
presidente, es más, señor.
Sign that.
Have a great
Ok,
lawyer.
usted tiene un gran
It
abogado.
is your responsibility to stay in touch with Mr. Ramirez, and he will tell you when you have to come back to court. If he tells me he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games and not responding to phone calls or text messages, I will issue a warrant for your arrest.
A ver, orden de arresto.
Do you understand?
¿Entiende?
I'm going to tell you now that I will do everything in my power to protect this county.
Ah,
I will protect this county at all costs. This is the only warning that you are going to get from us, so I hope that you heed it. There will be no more for you.
de que no.
I will have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive. After that, I'll get you to Victoria, where we'll have you sign a reset. After that, you'll get with pretrial for your bond conditions, and after that, you guys are free to go. Be safe when you're out there and make good decisions.
Cuidado cuando andas allá afuera y
Judge, I've
tome
asked the
buenas
state to sign
decisiones.
a standard discovery order for your execution. I don't know where it's at.
It's with Chief.
I'll sign it for you, Nathan. Okay,
Judge, just for the record, the state's refused to sign it, so I'm writing refused on here
really?
and submitting it to the court for execution, implementation. Thank you.
Judge, I'm not refusing. Generally,
Sign it then. Sign it.
hold on. Generally, these discovery orders, the state doesn't have a place to sign, it's just the order that the judge will sign. I'm just not agreeing to the motion. I'm
Okay.
not refusing to sign.
Got it. It's not a big deal. I'll sign it for you, and I got it for you.
This is Mr. Steed, Your Honor. Page 19.
Ernest Javon Steed.
Sorry.
Mr. Steed, you're charged with violation of a bond condition or protective order. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
On October 2nd, 2024, officers were dispatched to a disturbance at a residence in Harris County, Texas. The complainant stated that the defendant came to her apartment and rang the doorbell. The complainant has footage of the defendant from the doorbell camera showing him outside her apartment door, trying to talk to her through the camera. On June 5th, 2024, the court issued a protective order which states the defendant is prohibited from coming within 200 feet of the complainant's residence, and the order is in full effect until June 5th, 2026. The defendant was given notice on May 31st, 2024 of the application of the order and was in a Zoom video on the date of the hearing.
Is this from the 280,
Yes, Your Honor.
the domestic violence court?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you know if he has any open cases now anywhere else? You mind checking?
I'll run. And yes, Your Honor. No open cases, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Steed, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I want you to understand that the Texas Constitution does not allow me, but in extremely limited circumstances, to hold someone at no bond, zero bond. This is one of those cases that if we put conditions on your violation of protect board and you violate these conditions, I can have a hearing to hold you at no bond until this case is over with. And I will do that in a heartbeat to protect every single person of this county. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I'm ordering you now not to have any contact with this person and not to be in possession of any weapons. I'm not asking much. I'm just asking you, don't have any contact with this person. Don't go near within 200 feet of where they live or where they work. If you violate it again, you know what's going to happen. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you see a mark that's been granted on this one? I want to make you aware of one more thing, that I'm going to enter, and if there's not a protective order now, other than the one in there, I'm going to enter in a new one right now. And if you violate the protective order again, You will be charged with a third-degree felony, looking at 2 to 10 in the penitentiary, because a second or subsequent violation of protective order, that's a third-degree felony, and you're looking at a lot of time in prison. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
No means no. Doesn't mean maybe, doesn't mean she called me, asked me to come over. Just no means no. That's it. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm entering in what's called a magistrate's order for emergency protection. Magistrate order for emergency protection that identifies Brianna Ford as a protected individual. You cannot commit family violence or an assault against this person. Commit an act in furtherance of an offense under section 42.072 of the Texas Penal Code, which is the stalking statute. You cannot stalk, threaten, harass, use another person to communicate a threat or harassing behavior. You cannot go within 200 feet of where she lives or where she works, and you cannot be in possession of a weapon. You understand?
Sir.
No one can authorize you to violate this statute. So if she were to call you and say, hey, man, come on over, let's talk about this, and you go to that address listed in here, you're still in violation. So just don't have any contact with the person. Don't go over there and you'll be fine.
Sir.
What do you do for a living?
Photographer, and I'll do Uber as well.
Do you have a Texas driver license?
Mississippi. I'm from Mississippi.
How
I'm
long?
back
do
and
you-
forth.
What's the domicile? Where do you live?
I live in Houston, but I do a lot of photography in Mississippi, so I kind of go back and forth on the weekends.
You have liability insurance in your name.
Yes,
Have car insurance in your name.
yes,
Okay. As long as you have car insurance in your name and you have a license and you may continue to drive, just don't violate this protective order.
yes, sir.
We are going to give you time for you to hire a lawyer. So I'm going to have you come up here, sign the protective order. We'll give you a copy of the protective order. I'll have you sign a reset with Victoria. We'll have you take a seat while I get your bond conditions for no contact, no weapons. After you sign it, you'll be free to go. All right?
With legs.
Morning, Mr. Huey. How's jail?
I'm cold.
Yeah, that's true. It's cold, dark, smells. That's right. Your lawyer has asked for me to give you a PR bond. Why would I do that? You don't come to court. We give you a PR bond, you go back on the street, and then do whatever you want. You don't come back to court.
I'll make it this time, I promise.
Uh-huh. We've heard that before, Mr. Huey. Uh-huh. We've heard that before, Mr. Huey. He's asked for me to give you a PR bond. The only way I'm going to let you out is if you have a place to go to. I'm not letting you out to the street. If you have a place to go to, that someone's going to take you in and let you sleep there. And one of the conditions of your bond will be that you go to this place and that you stay there. I don't want you roaming the streets. Nothing good happens on the streets. How old are you? Oof.
Order in the court.
The hard living 42, man. You don't look 42. And I'm going to tell you, living on the streets, 15 years will pass in the blink of an eye. When you're 50, you're going to look like you're 120 because that's the hard living on the street. And I'm not done with that. And it's not going to happen here. So if you can find a place that's willing to take him in and that's willing to keep him there for an extended period, meaning that he stays there for most of the day and just roam the street using. If I drug test you now, what are you going to test positive for?
Yeah, probably not. I'll be honest, probably not. Marijuana, and that's it.
What else?
That's it, marijuana.
I don't believe that. What else, Mr. Huey? If you're not honest with me, I'm not giving you a PR bond.
Silence in the court.
I did PCP 2 weeks ago.
Stop.
Oh, we-
It's ruining your life.
Yes, sir.
I don't see what the fascination with PCP is, man. Reach out, see who you can find out who he's got in his life, who's ready to take him in, and then we'll talk. But if you find someone, I'm down, but not to the street.
Your Honor, if I'm unable to find someone, are you open to us approaching
It's
on it?
open to anything, of course. You know,
If he does elect to accept the plea offer from the district attorney and do the time served, is that?
I'm gonna tell you this, Mr. Huey, now, that I'm done with catch and release. And I'm done with the fact that you continue to pick up cases and then get out of here on time served. This is not a revolving door. So if you're someone who's gonna continue to catch cases and get into jail, I'm gonna have you TRAS, and if they recommend residential treatment, that's what we're going to do. So no more of this catch and release. Do you understand? Okay, all right, you let me know. Okay,
And Your Honor, just so you know, I do have the answer about this phone situation.
okay.
And so, I don't know if we could get that
Only
ball rolling.
97 days old.
It's, important, it looks like an important disclosure.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
whatever you need.
So.
I think they're talking about
Yeah,
in-camera
I was gonna mention,
protection.
probably be in camera.
Okay,
So
so
we'll
just,
get the motions filed and we'll.
Good.
Okay,
I'll take a look at it and then we'll give you.
okay, that's good on that one. And then, I think that's all I needed to approach on. Cool, thank you,
Yeah,
Judge.
when they, as soon as they give it to me, I'll take a look and
Okay,
then,
sounds good. Thank you, Judge.
please. I need you real quick for a plea, if you don't mind.
I'm here, Judge.
Okay, Victor. Catalan Rivas, come up.
Council for reset.
On this one, you are abandoning the open container or no? Guys, this has an open container allegation. Are you abandoning the open container allegation? Catalan Rivas, because that would make it a minimum of 5 days. Mr. Catalan Rivas, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. There's an allegation that you had an open container in the vehicle. As a result, that makes it a minimum of 5 days in jail as opposed to just 3 days in jail. You've worked out an agreement. They're offering you 3 days in jail, credit for the 1 day that you've done. This will go on your record. If you were ever pulled over in a car, from now on, you're facing a minimum of 30 days in jail. Do you understand? Even if you have the slightest smell of alcohol on your breath and you get pulled over, they're probably going to charge you with a second offense. And there will be a lot of jail time. What we're doing today, there's a minimum of 30 days from now on. Do you understand? I would never get in a car, even if you've had a sip of alcohol, because you're risking your life. You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty, it will go on your record. You can never take it off. Do you understand?
Yes.
How do you plead to this offense? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
I will find you guilty. I'm going to suspend your license for 90 days. Do
No.
not drive. What did I just say?
Le acabo de decir.
No manejo.
Not to drive.
You do.
Si lo hace.
Officer's going to pull you over. They're going to put you right in jail. Because driving without a license is a Class B misdemeanor, just like a DWI. Do you understand? Okay. About the fines and fees, Victor.
Your Honor, if we could waive those fees, Your Honor, he doesn't have too much money saved up to be able to pay all these fees, Judge. He doesn't have a driver's license at this point either. So in the future, if he were able to get some sort of immigration status, then this would obviously follow him around.
What your lawyer is asking me to do is to quash $3,500 worth of fines and fees and surcharges that you would normally otherwise have to pay. What do you do for a living?
Paint, trabajo en la fiberglass restoration.
Fiberglass restoration.
18-wheeler truck, big truck.
Full time?
¿Trabaja tiempo completo?
Y cuando tengo, sí, pero.
When there is work, yes.
Mr. Catalan Rivas, I want you to understand something and let me be very clear to you
Muy claro.
that I'm going to do this for you now, but it's not going to happen again. The next time, if you come back with another DWI, instead of it being $3,500, it's going to be around $6,000 to $7,000 that you're going to owe. Not to mention all the jail time that you will be required to do. All we are asking you to do is think when you're out there. If you've had anything to drink, don't get into a car. Do you understand?
Yeah.
All right, sir. We'll have you sign all your paperwork and good luck to you. You can run
Thank you, Judge. May be excused.
Thanks, Victor, of course. Yeah. Hi, James.
Morning,
What's up,
Judge.
man?
I have Hanelzi Trevino, and she's been given a dismissal offer of some community service hours in a class. and her appearance was required today. She has some childcare issues with her children. She's just asking for a short reset, if she could get that. She had kind of an emergency with her children and the father of her children in terms of a parenting situation.
Looks like 9/12, we gave her more time.
Yes, Judge.
She's had this offer open since,
It's for community service and, yes, Judge, since August.
did she do the class?
Judge, I'm not sure if she's done the class. She said that one of the places that she went to for the community service hours was asking her for some order from the judge. And I explained to her that you don't give any sort of orders to that.
Did she do the class?
Not that I can see, Judge.
And I'm no.
Do you want
I
to
mean-
give her a 1-week reset for bond forfeiture, Judge, just to have her come in?
Set up for bond forfeiture. Since August, all she had to do was 8 hours of community service and a class in this case would be
Yes,
dismissed.
Judge. I've had
October, we gave her more time in September.
conversations with her about this, Judge.
Monday, if she fails to appear Monday, I'm gonna make her bond so high, Lucifer herself is gonna have falling teeth
Yes, Judge.
herself. Who knows, right?
Reset to Monday for bond forfeiture. I'm going to let her know.
Tell her that I'm extremely upset, that it would behoove her to start working on it immediately.
And Judge, I do have another. I have the one that I was appointed to kind of late yesterday. It was Kendrick Richardson. I think he's still in processing. His bonds are set at
Is that him?
Is he here? I didn't think he was here. I thought he was in custody. Richardson? He was taken into custody yesterday, I believe.
Oh, right.
And so he's
I'm
not
still in custody.
he's not back there today. So I'm guessing he's just in processing.
Richardson?
Richardson, I saw him walk in here.
No.
Hey,
I think
Kendrick,
he's still in custody.
not Baby Boy Richardson, which is the other Richardson on the docket.
Processing this morning, I know. Let me double check.
We have a baby boy Richardson for real? Wow.
Yes, Judge. I wish I was appointed to that one.
His first name is Baby Boy.
I like that first
A
name.
fugitive case. What the heck? It shows he's in jail.
Yes, Judge, it looks like you put him in custody, I guess.
No.
No, there's two Richardsons on our docket. One's a fugitive, one's not.
Did we get any of the Richardson kids?
Baby Boy's back there, Judge, because I called my client's name.
Kendrick Richardson, no, it was.
Yes. You want to roll it to tomorrow? See if we get him tomorrow?
Yes, Judge, I can do that. You're not amenable to changing the bonds, though, I don't think, are you? Would you consider that, Judge, if I talk to him? Okay, but at least we can talk to him tomorrow.
For sure.
Richardson, we'll just roll it.
Thank you, Judge.
For sure. Hi.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not approaching you on any case. I just wanted to come and introduce myself. I'm
Hi.
taking some court appointments in here. So
You're doing what?
taking some court appointments and.
Oh, okay, great.
so
Yeah, thanks for helping. I mean, we've done quite a bit. You didn't get any?
I got two.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
great.
Yes, sir.
Well, let us know whatever you need.
Thank you.
Happy
I
to help.
appreciate it. Alrighty, thank you. Bye.
Yes, sir. No, sir. Arms by your side. Whatever he asks you, answer truthfully, but briefly. All right.
Mr. Moorhead, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. Second offense. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement that they're going
Order in
to
the court.
reduce your case to a first. That avoids you from having to do 5 days in jail. That's why that is important. So I want you to understand, even though it gets reduced to a first, that's still 2 DWIs on your records. What happens on the next one?
He's wanting you to say.
You know how many times I hear that every day? Take a guess.
Every time that you're asked.
Every person that comes here, for every case that we have, on every week and every day of the 3,000 clients that we so-called have here, everyone says that. And the problem is that you never know when something catastrophic is going to happen in your life. Someone cheats on you, someone dies, and it makes you do something that you normally wouldn't do. The problem is that the law doesn't care. They still see too. And whatever happens in your life, even if you have a sip of alcohol and you get into a car and you get pulled over, all they care about is your record and how you look. And then now they're going to charge you with a felony DWI. And now you'll be facing 2 to 10 in the penitentiary. And I'm going to tell you, you don't have to be falling down piss ass drunk where you urinated all over yourself. It doesn't matter. The slightest smell of alcohol with a little glazed eyes and your record, you're looking at a lot of time in prison. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So what I'm trying to impart to you is that even if you have a sip of alcohol, I wouldn't get into a car because it's a humongous risk every time you drive. You give up a lot of rights by entering this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are immigration issues. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty to this offense and you accept a probation, you cannot change this. It will reflect as a conviction and until the day you die. Is this what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
How do you plead to the offense? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
I will find you guilty and I will follow the agreement. As far as I see, is it 1 year or is it?
It should be 6 months probated for 1 year.
So it's 180 days in jail to be probated for 1 year. As part of the agreement, you will do a repeat offender DWI education class.
It's similar to a class that, it's just a little bit more intensive because it's a second offender class.
2 victim impact panels, TRAS, which is an evaluation to see what conditions you may need. If they say that you need intensive outpatient treatment, you must fulfill that as well. No drugs, alcohol, no breath test refusal, meaning that if you were in a car and you get pulled over and an officer asks you to submit to a breath sample, you must take it. If you don't, you're in violation of the probation. You must also have a guardian interlock as well. Is this how you understand the conditions?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions? How do you plead to the offense of driving while intoxicated? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
I will find you guilty and I will send it to you the agreement. I'm going to suspend your license for 1 year.
As per our conversation earlier, Judge, I'll file the occupational today or tomorrow
Does he
morning.
have an interlock now?
Yeah, he already has the interlock.
Understand that we lead the nation in DWI fatalities. So officers, they don't care if you're not pissed drunk. They don't just, if they smell alcohol, they see 2 DWIs on your record, they're going to make the assumption and they're just going to take you down. That's why it's so much easier. One button, $20 will take you anywhere you want to go in the city. Call Uber. They should be your best friend.
My client, Judge, had unfortunate circumstances which led to him having to drive in this instance.
But the problem is that if you kill a 2-year-old kid, those unfortunate circumstances, no one cares about your unfortunate circumstances. All they care is the dead body on the side of the road. You know that I had a lady once I represented many moons ago, found that her husband was cheating on her in their bed, caught them in the bed, in the act. So she goes out and decides, you know what? That stupid MF, she goes to the club, picks up the first person she can find in spite to try to cheat on, gets in the car, gets loaded at the club, takes off, and over there on it was Hillcroft and Gessner, runs a light, kills the guy. She's now in prison, doing a very lengthy sentence. What happened to make you do whatever it was? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the sky fell, your grandmother died, your spouse cheated. None of that matters. What matters is the end result. And that's why I try to impart to you how important that is so that you realize that. Because we don't want to see you in prison, Good luck to you, sir. Oh, well, hold on a second. We also need the fines and fees and surcharges. So what do you do for a living, sir?
There's a DPS surcharge and he has to determine whether or not you can afford to pay it. So he's going to ask you a few financial questions.
What do you do for a living?
I'm retired.
Okay, from what?
The Army and from Exxon Research.
So you had a pretty good job while you were.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I'm hired, Your Honor.
Okay, so you'll be required to pay the fines and fees and surcharges, and I'll give him 2 years to pay, so it'll end up being like $150, $120 a month. But it's reduced to a first, so it's $3,000 plus the court costs, and then 2 years to pay. All right, sir, best of luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. Obviously, Mr. Moorhead, probation's going to need you in a moment. I got your notice on Mr. Mendoza. I think, so there was a bond condition and then he came to court and you required him to pee. And I think he tested positive the day he came to court. And I think the BVR is, the way I read it anyway, is he tested positive the day he came to court. Which I no.
It says, so 9/26, he was a no-show. He tested again 10/10. So hold, let me pull them up. 2502. Well, have you explained the plea paperwork to him?
Yes, I did probably about 3 or 4 times.
Does he understand it?
When I explained, he says he understands. Probably 5 minutes later, he'll tell me he didn't. But then again, I explain and he's fine. But I just asked him, he said he understands.
What's his last name again? Last name?
His last name is Panapalam.
Okay, Miss Abraham. Miss Abraham.
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor. I'm here.
Okay, I am here with everyone.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me and see me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
TV's.
Let me see if I can, sometimes it works, sometimes they don't. Let me see if they can work this time.
Why are they so
Can
moody?
you hear me? Can you
Everyone
hear
in my
me, Your
life.
Honor?
The TVs are moody. I'm sorry, man. I'm trying to get
Can
the
you hear me, sir?
TVs to work so that he can see you.
Okay.
You give me a brief rendition of what happened, will you, Alex?
Yes, so briefly, it says in May of 2024, officers were dispatched to the residence in Harris County, Texas, and the witness advised that she and her mother bought new locks for their bedrooms and needed help installing them, so they hired a handyman. And the handyman was addressing the mother and not the father, and this caused the father to get upset and cause a verbal dispute between him and her mother. And the verbal dispute escalated, and the father walked up to the mother and ended up face to face with her, where he raised his right hand with an open palm and told her, "I am going to hit you." And that's when the mother stated that, or I'm sorry, the daughter stated she stepped in between her father and her mother to prevent her mother from being hit. And then the witness contacted the police and added that this has also happened in the past. And in this case, yes, sir, that's what we have.
This is Panam Palam, right? Panam Palam? That's who we're talking about?
Yes, sir. And to be clear,
அக்ரிமெண்ட் இந்த இந்த ஒப்பந்தம் உங்களுக்கு புரிஞ்சதுன்னா உங்களுக்கு வந்துட்டு நிறைய ரைட்ஸ் இருக்காது, நிறைய உரிமை இருக்காது.
ஓகே,
பரவாயில்லையா?
பரவாயில்ல.
I'm good with that too.
back and come back.
An intervention program, perhaps that would be something that they would be willing to offer, where it would be a dismissal if he completes it. Some, you can ask and see.
Can I just step back?
Take your time. There's no rush. And look, we don't have to do this today. If they offer you something like that, we give you time. It's not, it's old, but it's not too terribly old. So we can always give you more time.
Sure.
And we're
I'll be
happy to.
right back.
Take your time. Mr. Panapa, please just take a seat momentarily, okay? Do not leave. Don't leave. Ms. Abraham, hang tight for me 1 second, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
No problem, Judge. I'll wait.
Ms. Mueller.